You may. Good morning. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
All right, thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name and spell it for the court, please?
Yes, my name is Randy Blackburn. My first name is spelled R-A-N-D-Y. My last name is spelled B-L-A-C-K-B-U-R-N.
All right, and how are you employed?
I'm employed with the Gwinnett County Police Department.
What is your role there?
I'm currently assigned to the Gwinnett County Police Homicide Assault Unit.
So you're a detective, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Detective Blackburn, tell us a little bit about how long you've actually been with the Gwinnett County Police Department as a whole.
I started my career with the Gwinnett County Police Department in 2011, so approximately 13 years. So.
And how about the Homicide Unit? How long?
In March of next year, I'll be assigned to the unit for 4 years.
So please help the ladies and gentlemen of the jury learn about what it is that the Homicide Unit does, all its roles and responsibilities.
So we handle homicide investigations, and we also handle personal assault crimes, missing person reports, and also terroristic threat reports as well.
Now, the detectives who are assigned to the Homicide Unit there, do you guys receive any specialized training above and beyond what you get to become a certified police officer?
Yes. So we are tasked out to attend homicide training school. We handle advanced homicide training techniques as well.
Okay. And you are a certified police officer, correct?
I am a certified police officer
in addition.
Georgia. Yes.
All right. Now, approximately how many homicide investigations have you been involved in, either as lead detective or in assisting with those investigations?
I've been a lead detective in a homicide investigation for 18 homicides that I was lead in, and I assisted with 75 plus homicide investigations within the unit.
Now, I want to take you back to around November 21st of 2021. Were you called out to help with the investigation of Amari Hall, who had been reported missing?
I was, yes.
And tell us what was the purpose in having you called in?
So the morning of November 22nd, 2021, I was explained that detectives from the Special Victims Unit had been working overnight to locate a missing child. During their investigation, the defendant's cell phone was downloaded. During the download review of the phone, the detectives deemed that there was suspected foul play in the investigation, and since Amari Hall had not been located, since Brittany Hall, the biological mother, had called 911 that morning, November 21st. Now we're 24 hours into the investigation, and she still had not been located. This was transitioning from a missing person or missing juvenile into a homicide investigation, and the main objective for law enforcement at this point was to locate Amari's body.
Now, when you became involved in the case, you mentioned earlier that you were aware of the extraction that was done on defendant Celeste Owens' phone, correct?
Yes, I was.
Now, did you also, as now becoming part of the investigation, look into that extraction?
I did, yes.
Did you specifically look into any of the search history within Celeste Owens' phone?
I did, yes.
I'm going to now show you what I have marked as States Exhibits 96, 97, and 98. And then I am skipping over and showing you States Exhibits 120, 121, 122, and 123. All of these have previously been shown to defense counsel. Detective Blackburn, can you just briefly look at these?
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me just what they are.
This is going to be the data that was extracted from the defendant's cell phone, and this was pulled from the site report that we are given once the phones are downloaded from the Gwinnett County Police Forensic Computer Lab.
123, which are essentially extractions or screenshots from the extraction of defendant Celeste Owens' cell phone, which would be under State's Exhibit 21. I have previously shown these to defense counsel as well.
That's correct, Judge. No objection.
Admitted without objection.
Thank you. And may I publish these as well?
You may.
Thank you. All right, Detective Blackburn, it may be advantageous if I ask you, actually, let me go back to please stand up. There's a pointer right there.
Yes, ma'am.
With you, might be a little bit harder, so I'm going to try to make this as big as I can. Detective Blackburn, oops, sorry. All right. Detective Blackburn, you said you had gone through the extraction and the search history as well. I want to direct your attention to around 4:06 in the morning on the 19th of November. But before I do that, could you just briefly explain to the jury sort of what it is that we're looking at and what each column essentially means?
Yes. So the red X means that this is deleted data from the defendant's cell phone, which was recovered from the cell right report. The date, the time, the search title, and then obviously the URL.
Is that the search engine essentially, or what was used to search?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will direct your attention to what looks like is marked as states, or as, is that line 189?
Yes, it is.
There at the bottom. And if you wouldn't mind just reading for the jury out loud the date, the time, and the topic of the search all the way through to the top of that.
So 189, the date was 11/19/2021. The time was 4:06:19 a.m. in the morning. And the title was What to Do When a Child Just So Won't Listen. And again, it was on a Google search engine. The next one will be 188, 11/19/2021, 4:06:20 a.m. What to Do When a Child Just Doesn't Listen. 187, 11/19/2021 at 12:04:08 p.m. Lakes near me. Again, a Google search. 186, 11/19/2021 at 12:04 p.m. Again, Lakes near me. And then 185, again, 11/19/2021 at 12:04:11 p.m. Lakes near me. Google search. And then 184, 11/19/2021 at 12:04:12 p.m. and Lakes near me. Google search and then Google search engine.
So this indicates that the defendant's phone searched these specific topics at these specific times.
That is correct.
On this specific date.
That is correct.
And the X means that all of those searches were deleted?
They were, yes.
Okay. Let me move you over. Okay, to State's Exhibit number 97. Now, on this, all of the dates on this sheet, are they all for November 19th, 2021?
They are, that is correct.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you now to read for the jurors, and you don't have to read the date since it's all on November 19th, but at least the time and the search as it relates to those from 165 up to 159.
So 11/19/2021, search was how the sewers on the streets work. And the Google search. 164, again 11/19/2021, how the sewers work on the streets work. 163, 11/19/2021, why do kids run away? Again 162, 11/19/2021, search again, why do kids run away? 161, 11/19/2021, how do I report someone missing? Same search again at 160, 11/19/2021, how do I report someone missing? 159, 11/19/2021, what to do if a loved one goes missing. And again, the regex is being that this was deleted data from the defendant's cell phone.
Now, as it relates to the time frame around 7:26 and 45 seconds, which is seen in line 157, all the way up or down, I guess, to line 148, which would be 7:33 and 36 seconds, again, in the evening of that day, without individually going through those lines, is there one specific company or account that is being looked at or accessed?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that for?
It would be the U-Haul customer account that was searched.
All right, so I'm going to take you over. This is State's Exhibit number 97. There we go, that's a little bit easier. And here, it looks like the searches do continue at this point, so I'm going to ask you to read for the jury line 182, 183. Again, are all of the searches on this date also on November 19th of 2021?
That is correct.
So as far as 182 and 183 are concerned, what is the time and the search topic?
The time is 12:04 p.m. and why is it so hard to find missing people?
As the same topic, sort of back to back, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And I think that you touched, but 166 and 167 as well. Please, can you go ahead and read that for the jury? Up top.
Again, 11/19/2021 at 2:24 p.m. and then does sewer drains work? I believe it's supposed to be how does sewer drains work?
Okay.
Which is misspelled.
All right. So essentially, all of the searches that were that you have read out to the jury have occurred on November 19th of 2021, from which you indicated from around 4 in the morning, and then continued through until about 7 that evening, various forms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, again, all of these on State's Exhibit number 96, 97, and 98 were all of those searches on November 19th deleted from the defendant's phone.
They were, yes, deleted material. Or, excuse me, deleted data.
Okay? I'm going to show you now what has been admitted, and this is going to be State's Exhibit number 20 here. Again, is this also a screenshot of information obtained through the extraction of defendant Celeste Owens' cell phone?
That is correct, yes.
And the highlighted portion there for you, what is that exactly? Can you tell us the date, the time, and whether or not there was some access to a particular app on the defendant's phone?
Okay, so it's 11/19/2021 at 5:50 p.m. and it shows that com.apple.data usage find my iPhone. So that means that the defendant was manipulating her Find My iPhone app on her cell phone.
Okay. All right, I'm going to show you now what is State's Exhibit number 121. Again, the highlighted portion there, can you just tell us again, that's on November 19th, correct? Everything's happening on November 19th, 2021?
That is correct.
And what was the preferences on the phone accessed?
It was at 5:50 p.m. and then again you can see the description is .com Apple preferences and then the knowledge seed.
over to this next exhibit. And I'm going to show you again the highlighted portion here. Everything on this page is also accessing on November 19, 2021. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So the highlighted portion, what event occurred on the phone at about 6:55 and 51 seconds on November 19, 2021?
So this shows that the flashlight was manipulated to turn on and off. Again, at 6:55 p.m. it was turned on.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit 23. Oh, maybe not. There we go. Now I'm going to take you over, what is this that we're looking at? Are these actually phone calls or apps, or what is this here?
This is going to be this data, activity sensor data for the apps.
Now, I want to take your attention specifically to November 19, 2021 at 6:58 and 41 seconds in the evening. What is the type of thing that is occurring on the phone at that point?
So there was a phone call that was made, and the phone call was made to 762-204-4080, and it was the contact was saved in the highway, and that would be Brittany Hall's phone number.
And in your investigation and lead investigator in the homicide of the child in this case, were you able to determine that that was in fact the phone number associated with Brittany Hall?
It was, yes.
And
Can you read that number again, because you said 4080?
762-204-4008.
thank you. And approximately how long would that call have been?
51:30.
So about 51
Yeah.
seconds? Okay. Right, you can have a seat now. Thank you. Now, based on the search history at this point, did you have any interest in what was happening at the U-Haul location, or why the U-Haul location was being searched?
I did, yes.
Tell us what you did with that information.
So researching the call log data on the defendant's phone, I was able to establish a location. It was the A1 storage facility off of Lawrenceville Highway and Jimmy Carter Boulevard. The address is 6274 Lawrenceville Highway. That location, the A1 storage facility, licensed U-Haul rental.
Did you actually go to that location?
I did, yes.
And what happened when you went to the location? What information were you able to glean?
I spoke with employees at the location, and I was provided a U-Haul receipt that was an agreement for the defendant to rent a U-Haul van that day on November 19th, 2021. Again, while speaking with employees, they showed me the business phone and the caller ID, which displayed the defendant's name and her phone number, had called multiple times inquiring if there was a U-Haul van available for rental.
And the name that popped up, that you visually saw that name?
I did, yes.
And what was that name that you saw?
Celeste Owens.
Okay. I'm going to show you what has been previously marked as State's Exhibit number 99 and shown to Defense Counsel. Can you please tell us what that is?
This is going to be the U-Haul equipment contract receipt that was provided to me during my investigation.
And is that in fact an accurate representation of the contract that you recall being given?
It is, yes.
Okay. And Judge, pursuant to that, I do have State's Exhibit 100, which is a business record certification by the lawful custodian of records for that business. I have previously shown that also to Defense Counsel. It is also part of the court stipulations, or the state and defense's stipulations presented to the court. And so pursuant to State's Exhibit 100, we would ask to tender into evidence State's Exhibit 99, which is the contract in question referenced.
All of that is correct.
Admitted without objection.
Thank you.
States 99 and states 100.
Thank you, Judge. And at this time, may I go ahead and publish State's Exhibit number 99, Your Honor?
You may.
All right, Detective Blackburn, I'm probably going to have to go ahead and stand up again with your
Yes, ma'am.
pointer. And please help the jury understand what it is that we are looking at here.
So again, the customer name, Celeste Owens, she provided her address, 7049 Gwinnett County Boulevard, Peachtree Corner, Georgia, 30092. The customer's phone number, which is 770-875-4475. And then also the email account at celesteowens771@yahoo.com.
In your investigation as the lead investigator in this case, were you able to also determine that that is in fact the phone number that was associated with Celeste Owens?
Yes, and that's going to be the phone number that called earlier that day to inquire if there were any U-Haul vans available.
Okay. And that contract, I think, is comprised of a couple pages, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you the contract. State's Exhibit number 99 actually does have 4 total pages, and so I will take you over to, I believe it will be the 3rd page. Bear with me 1 second till we get there. Okay. Now, on the top of that page there, tell us, is there a rental time in, rental time out, and any mileage that is associated with that particular U-Haul van?
Yes, so the rental date and time is 11/19/2021, and it was rented at 1:06 p.m. The return date and time, again, was the same date, 11/19/2021, and it was returned at 7:36 p.m., so the vehicle was rented for approximately 6.5 hours that day.
Is there also a license plate number that was associated with the van?
Correct. And then again, for the mileage, it's 6060 was the mileage out, and then the mileage in was 6087, so approximately 27 miles were driven within that 6.5 hour time frame.
27 miles?
Yes, ma'am. And then to answer your question, the license plate number was,
I'm gonna there. Let me get back up to. Is it up there? There it is. Yes.
Yes, so it's Alpha Lima 06742 AL 06742, and again the license plate was registered out of Arizona.
Okay. All right, now Detective Blackburn, when you went to the location there of the U-Haul, were you able to determine if there was any surveillance footage?
Yes, there was surveillance cameras from the exterior and interior of the business.
Did you obtain that surveillance footage as well?
I did, yes.
Judge, Mr. Blackburn, let me go ahead and show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 102. Did you have an opportunity to review the surveillance video from the A1 mini storage on November 19th when you went there to obtain that footage?
I did, yes.
And prior to coming to court today, you had an opportunity to review it as well, is that right?
I did, yes.
And does it accurately reflect the information as you received it on video on that day?
It does.
Any material alterations, deletions, anything to your knowledge?
No.
Judge, I would move pursuant to State's Exhibit 101, which again is a business record certification provided by the custodian of records at the A1 mini storage, and for the specific video surveillance in question that was taken from that location. Also, a stipulation that has been agreed to before the parties. Based on that, we would move to into evidence State's Exhibit 102, which is the physical copy of the video.
No objection.
Admitted without objection,
Thank you.
and by stipulation.
Thank you. I will, but is yours working right now? Okay. Judge, I would ask to publish State's Exhibit 102.
Granted.
Okay. Now, Detective Blackburn, I'm going to show you portions of the actual video, starting with the exterior of the U-Haul. And can you tell us a little bit about what we would expect to see in that video?
Yes. So the defendant is going to arrive via Lyft or Uber at the location. When she arrives, she enters the business. There is going to be a customer ahead of her. She stands by until that customer is finished, and then the employees assist her with renting the U-Haul. Once the U-Haul is rented, she leaves the location.
All right.
And again, the U-Haul video was approximately 15 minutes ahead of actual time.
So what time?
So right now, real time would be 12:59 that she's arriving.
And this would be on November 19th of 2021.
Correct, 11/19/2021. And this is going to be the defendant exiting the Uber or Lyft.
And that's one vantage point, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right, and there's another exterior vantage point.
Correct, yes. So again, this is the defendant exiting the vehicle to enter the A1 storage location.
Go ahead and move on to. Right, now you did say there were multiple camera angles, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so these are different angles of when the defendant is coming out of the vehicle and then potentially leaving the facility as well?
Yes.
All right. And I'll just let you explain what it is that is being observed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
this is going to be the interior camera for the A1 storage facility. Again, 11/19/2021. It is 15 minutes ahead, so it's approximately now 1 p.m. And the defendant is entering the location with a COVID-19 surgical mask over her face. So once they're finished with this customer, she approaches the desk, provides her driver's license to the employee for the U-Haul rental.
Detective Blackburn, were you able to determine if it appeared as if it was taking a photograph at that point
Yes, she's taking a photograph of her driver's license.
of her driver's license?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and is there also footage that was observed of the defendant leaving the location after renting the U-Haul?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
There's exterior footage.
Okay.
Sorry, I've got to hit the button.
Okay. Approximately what time would this be now?
It is going to be approximately 1:04.
Okay. And is that the defendant that we're observing there?
Defendant entering the U-Haul van that she rented out.
Can you stop this? You just have a seat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 10-minute recess. me with a note that said juror urgent bathroom break. So, do y'all want me to put this into the record, or?
I don't think it's necessary. Detective Blackburn, I'm going to take you back for just a moment to the previous video where the defendant is exiting the U-Haul location. I had previously asked you about an approximate time frame as to when that would be, and I think that you had indicated a particular time. Can you go back and just make sure that was the correct time?
Yes,
All right.
I indicated it was 1:04, the actual time is maybe 1:09.
It's 1:09.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that would be 1:09 in the afternoon.
Correct, yes.
Thank you. All right. And I think if you could just
Yes, ma'am.
show us what's happening here.
So again, the defendant exited the business, and the defendant was walking towards the rental, the U-Haul van that was rented out that day.
And at some point, is that van seen pulling away?
That is correct. And the van will eventually turn left onto Lawrence Highway.
Was there any indication that there were any other individuals who also got into that van?
No.
What is that main road right there, Detective? Do you recall?
Lawrence Highway, US 29. And again, this is just the additional angle showing the defendant walking to the right-hand side where the van is located.
So at this point, what we've seen are two vantage points of the defendant coming into the facility, one vantage point inside the facility, and then again, two vantage points leaving the facility. Is that right?
That is correct,
Okay.
yes.
All right, now I want to talk to you a little bit about something called flock. Are you familiar with the flock camera system?
Yes, I am.
And can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that is?
So flock safety cameras is just an investigative tool that we use as a detective. Once we learn or try to identify a vehicle in question, we are able to research on flock cameras. And these flock cameras are positioned throughout the country. So once I learned the license plate from the U-Haul receipt, I began researching on flock safety cameras to determine a direction of travel after the defendant left the A1 storage facility.
Now, are flock cameras located everywhere?
There's a good amount in Gwinnett County, so we're very fortunate to have that tool in this county. So
Are they also located throughout the country as well?
throughout the country,
Right,
yes.
so it's not just here in Gwinnett.
That's correct, throughout the country.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as States Exhibits 103 through 111, also previously shown to Defense Counsel. You could identify those for me, just briefly, what we're looking at.
I'm sorry, can you say those numbers again, please?
Yes, Judge, it's going to be 103 through 111.
And these are just going to be the flock captures of the U-Haul van that the defendant was driving.
Are those an accurate reflection of the images that you reviewed yourself of the flock camera associated with that
That is correct.
van? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Judge, at this time, I would move to tender into evidence States Exhibits 103 through 111. Again, those have been previously shown to defense counsel. There is also a stipulation that has been entered into by defense counsel and the state as far as foundation is concerned for those images.
That's correct as well, Judge, and no objection.
They're admitted without objection.
Thank you. May I publish some of these, Judge?
You may.
Thank you. All right, Detective Blackburn, I'm showing you States Exhibits 103. Since this is the first flock image we're seeing, can you just explain what it is that is contained on this actual image?
Yes. So the detailed information is on the bottom. This flock camera was positioned at Jimmy Carter Boulevard at 85 towards Live Oak Parkway, and it covered lane 2 and 3. The date and time is 11/19/2021, and the time is military, so it's 1:21:22, and that is an accurate time.
And are you able to actually see the license plate of the van as well?
Yes, so it's an Arizona license plate again, and the license plate is Alpha Lima 06742, AL 06742.
And that is in fact the van that was rented pursuant to the video footage as well as the contract by this defendant, Celeste Owens?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to show you States Exhibit 103. What location is that?
This is going to be Jimmy Carter Boulevard at 85 towards Brook Hollow. This is the left lane. And again, this is the defendant traveling westbound on Jimmy Carter Boulevard back towards 7049 Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Hometown Suites. And again, time of the date is 11/19/2021, and the time is 1:23:45.
And States Exhibit 105.
This location is it's going to be in the city of Peachtree Corners. Jimmy Carter at Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. This is going to be right outside the location of 749 Jimmy Carter Boulevard. And the date is 11/19/2021, and the time is 1:31:24.
So the flock images can only be captured where there's a flock camera.
That is correct, yes.
And so in these locations, that's why there is some intermittent time of the photographs. Is that right?
That's correct. There's a handful of flock cameras that are stationary on Jimmy Carter Boulevard.
Now, at some point, did you learn through the flock cameras and the various locations that you were tracking or looking at if the defendant made a stop anywhere prior to going back to the hometown studios that day?
That is correct, yes.
And where would that stop have been?
The stop that the defendant made was to the Dollar Tree that was located at 7050 Jimmy Carter Boulevard, and that location would be directly across the street from 749 Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Hometown Suites.
Would that be the Dollar Tree or the Family Dollar?
Excuse me, Family Dollar.
All right. I am going to show you what's been previously marked as States Exhibit number 115. Do you know what that is, Detective Blackburn?
This is a DVD containing the interior surveillance cameras of the Family Dollar.
Okay. And you've had a chance to review that footage as well?
I did, yes.
Is that footage from November 19th of 2021?
That is correct, yes.
And what location is that from? Is it the Family Dollar that is located at 7050 Jimmy Carter Boulevard?
That is correct, yes.
And you've had an opportunity to review it. Is that a fair and accurate representation of the surveillance video as you reviewed it as well?
It is, yes.
Judge, at this time, the state would move to tender into evidence State's Exhibit number 115 pursuant to a business records certification in Exhibit 114 from the custodian of records for that surveillance video, also included in the stipulation between parties.
And that's also true and correct. Judge, and no objection.
Admitted without objection.
Thank you, Judge. And I would ask to have permission to publish publish that video as well.
Granted.
Thank you. And Detective Blackburn, while we're getting that video ready for you, did you or other law enforcement officers actually go to the Family Dollar that was located, that the surveillance footage is taken from?
That is correct, yes.
Did you also obtain from there a receipt as well?
Yes,
Okay, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 113. Is that in fact the receipt that was obtained from the Family Dollar?
that is correct, yes.
What is the date on that receipt?
It is 11/19/2021, and the time of the purchase was 1:39 and 48 seconds.
Judge, at this time, I will move to tender into evidence State's Exhibit 113 pursuant to State's Exhibit 112, yet another business record certification for the receipt from the custodian of records at the Family Dollar, also pursuant to the stipulation between parties.
True and correct, Judge, no objection.
Admit without objection.
Thank you. Yes. All right, Judge, we're going to, Detective Blackburn, we're going to go ahead and play the video.
The date and time on the bottom left-hand side, the date is, or the time is correct. And this would be the defendant, again, wearing the same clothing that she was wearing at the A1 market with the COVID-19 mask over her face.
Right, this is a different camera angle. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is the defendant, left-hand side, approaching the cash register to check out. Again, the time is 1:39, 6 seconds. And the items purchased is a gallon of bleach, miscellaneous drinks, and candy.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Bleach was being purchased, miscellaneous drinks, and candy, along with the item. And latex gloves were also purchased. And then she exits the store at 1:40.
I'm going to switch over to the camera. All right, and I'm going to, Judge, may I have permission to publish State's Exhibit 113 as well?
Granted.
Detective Blackburn, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 113. You indicated this was the receipt. Tell us what it is that we're looking at here. Can you see?
Yes. Bleach, Skittles, gloves, a Hawaiian, a low-power drink, a Mountain Blast, Mountain Dew, and then gold box wing.
Okay, so, but there is the bleach and the gloves that are noted on that receipt from the Family Dollar.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. Now, from the Family Dollar location, were you able to determine through surveillance videos where the defendant's van traveled next, or the U-Haul van the defendant had rented traveled next?
Yes, the defendant then travels across the street back to 7049 Jimmy Carter Boulevard, the hometown suites.
I'm going to show you a couple additional exhibits here. Did you go to the Hometown Studios location as part of your investigation?
I did, yes.
Were you able to locate any kind of surveillance video there as well?
I did, yes.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 119. What is that?
It's a DVD containing the video footage from the hometown suites that I obtained during my investigation.
And you've had an opportunity to review that footage prior to coming in court today?
I did, yes.
It is a fair and accurate representation of the footage that was reviewed by you at that time?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, Judge, at this time, I would move to tender into evidence State's Exhibit 119 pursuant to State's Exhibit 118, which is a business record certification for the particular surveillance video, also pursuant to the stipulation of the parties previously agreed upon.
True and correct, Judge, and no objection.
Admitted without objection.
Thank you, and would also show you State's Exhibit 117. Can you tell us, Detective Blackburn, what that is?
This is going to be a detailed receipt from the hometown studios. Again, the location was 7049 Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Norcross, Georgia, 30092.
And is there also some receipts for another location?
Yes, for additional hometown studios that is located up the street, a different location at 6295 Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Norcross, Georgia, 30071.
Judge, at this time, the state will move to tender into evidence State's Exhibit 117, which consists of 3 pages, pursuant to State's Exhibit 116, which is a business record certification for those documents, also agreed upon to between the parties by previous stipulation.
True and correct, Judge, and no objection.
Admitted without objection.
Thank you. I would ask to publish those exhibits, Judge.
Granted.
Thank you. I'll go to the first hometown suites video that occurred in the afternoon of November 19, 2023. If you could help us sort of understand what it is that we're looking at here.
So after the defendant leaves the store across the street, she enters the parking lot and travels around the parking lot to room 251, where that location is at.
Is it your belief that the van that is now entered in is the same U-Haul van rented by the defendant?
That is correct,
Okay.
yes.
Are we able to see where that van had parked here in this video?
Not on this video, but there is an additional angle near room 251 where that van is observed backing into a parking stall.
And if we can go to that second video in the evening, the first one, please. Now, this is correct time, is that right?
Yes, but the time now is going to be 5:51.
Okay. So there is no movement that was detected at the Hometown Studios surveillance video between the time that the van had pulled in the previous video scene and now?
Correct.
And what are we looking at right there at the bottom of the screen? We may have to just go back and just detect it.
There's some activity full where the van is located near room 251.
You said there is another angle as well.
Correct.
Okay, we'll get to that. Are you able to note in this video the van?
It's going to be up in this corner. Again, with the quality of the video, it's hard to determine who's moving around the van, but you do see activity. And you see the van
Is that the van?
moving closer to the stairwell to the building.
You've been to this location?
I have, yes.
All right, and are you able to give an estimate as to how far from room 251 that parking space would have been? Just an estimate?
A couple stalls over from the stairs.
A couple stalls, parking stalls over?
Yes.
Okay, from the stairs. And the parking lot seems fairly full, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Can you tell from that vantage point if the van has backed in?
Yes, it has backed in right here, and then you see some activity in the back of the van, the rear of the van. The doors are opening up to the van. You can still see movement.
And while we get the next portion queued up, is there also footage of the van then exiting the Hometown Studios?
That is correct. The video that we saw from the first parking lot, you'll see it pulling out back onto Jimmy Carter Boulevard.
And can you please put on the record, Ms. Nazan, the times where you're stopping and starting the video?
Yes, Judge, I can certainly do that. It looks like at this point, Judge. Okay, we're gonna get back to where we were so we can get that on the record. All right, it looks like the time for the purposes of the record, Judge indicated on the screen, is going to be 17 hours, 56 minutes, and 15 seconds, with the date being 2021-11-19.
And for the record on the video, it looks like it's at 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Is that correct? Bottom left-hand side.
Yes, 5:55.
Thank you.
Sorry. All right, and then we are playing the video through.
So again, activity at the rear of the vehicle.
We have paused the video at this point at on the screen at 17:57 and 10 seconds, but the video is, can you read that out for me? Detective Blackburn, the timing right there to the left at the bottom? Yes.
6:50. This time right here?
Yes.
Yes. 0650.
Thank you. And then we'll get to that second vantage point. All right, I'm going to be starting this video here at 7 minutes and 44 seconds. Where is the van? Is it still in the same location?
So now
Okay.
the van is pulling out of the parking stall, and the time is 17:58, so converted to 12 hours, 5:58 p.m.
The video is now stopped at, is that 8 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me get you back over here. Are there additional flock images of the van now leaving the hometown studios?
Yes, so now there's flock captures for the van traveling eastbound on Jimmy Carter Boulevard, heading back towards Lawrenceville Highway, US 29.
All right, let me. All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 106. What is the location of travel here?
So the location is City of Peachtree Corners, and it's at Jimmy Carter at Peachtree Industrial Boulevard, 11/19/2021, and the time is 6:02 p.m.
And again, that is the license plate, the same license plate.
Alpha Lima 06742.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 107. If you could just kind of track the movement for us, please.
Okay, so vehicles continuing eastbound Jimmy Carter Boulevard. It is now at Jimmy Carter at Buford Highway towards West Rome. And the time is 11/19/2021 at 6:07 p.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The same license plate number? Right. State's Exhibit 108. What location are we at?
So now we're across Interstate 85. We're at Jimmy Carter at Brett Road towards Highway 29, Lawrenceville Highway. Again, the date is 11/19/2021, and the time is 6:29 p.m.
So still headed away from the hometown studios in the direction of travel that you indicated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to go to State's Exhibit 109.
So now the U-Haul van has crossed over Lawrenceville Highway, and it's on Mountain Industrial, and it's on U-Haul Road. The van is going to be this vehicle right here.
Okay.
This was a double capture of the two vans. The date 11/19/2021, and the time is 6:35 p.m.
State's Exhibit 110. What direction are we headed now?
We're still continuing eastbound, and we're still on Mountain Industrial from Lewis. And again, the date is 11/19/2021, and the time is 7 p.m.
Finally, State's Exhibit 111.
Mountain Industrial, and there's a flock camera at that Quick Trip at that location. And the date time is 11/19/2021, and we're at 7:08 p.m.
703.
I'm sorry, yes, 7:03.
Okay. And so is the van still headed in that same direction, or has it turned around at this point?
We're turned around at this point.
All right. So it is coming back towards the hometown studios
Now
location?
we're westbound, yes.
All right. So what we track the van doing is going in one direction. And what direction is that? What county are they headed towards?
DeKalb County.
DeKalb County? Okay. Any particular area within DeKalb County or can you tell?
Over 29 on Mountain Industrial.
All right. And then now the van is heading back around 7 o'clock or so,
That's correct, yes.
headed back towards Gwinnett County.
Gwinnett County, yes.
All right, now, at some point, does this U-Haul van rented by the defendant with this particular license plate number arrive back at the A1 mini storage where it was originally rented?
It does, yes.
Does it arrive back that same day?
It does, yes. That
Do you-
evening.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you recall around what time?
Approximately 7:30 p.m.
And is there also surveillance video of the van coming back?
There is, yes.
Now, I'll have you read for us the actual time in which we start. Are we ready, Mr. Brown, to start it? Okay, what is that time there at the bottom, as far as the counter?
0133.
0133?
Yes.
Okay, and what about the actual time? Is this also 15 minutes fast because it's at the U-Haul location?
It is 15 minutes ahead, so the time would be 7:15.
7:15?
Yes.
All right, and if you can show us if the van is seen on this video.
Again, the van is now going into the A1 storage. The defendant stops briefly at the location and then will leave shortly after. The vehicle is never captured going eastbound on Jimmy Carter again. It kind of just stays in the corridor. I'm guessing that the defendant forgot to put gas into the van, and that's why she drove back towards Jimmy Carter Boulevard. There's multiple gas stations in that intersection of Lawrenceville Highway and Jimmy Carter Boulevard.
And is this van pulling back out seen as well?
Yes, it is. So again, the van is reversing. And you'll see the van turn left onto Lawrenceville Highway. But 7:17 the van turns, 7:18 the van turns left onto US 29 Lawrenceville Highway.
And the video ends there at 11 minutes and 4, as far as the counter's concerned?
That is correct.
Okay, 4 seconds, all right. And then is there additional footage of the van returning?
Yes, there is additional footage
All right,
shortly after the van pulls back into the parking lot.
okay. No, I can't see it. Is it 11:04?
It's still 11:04, yes. 11:04.
On the gray part of the bill.
It's 11:38. So at 7:17 or 7:25, the van pulls into the parking, back into the parking stall.
objection, Mr. Greenwald?
None.
Playing the video at 15 minutes, 36 seconds.
Thank you.
And you'll see the defendant exit the driver's side. And still has the COVID-19 mask on, and now she's carrying a book bag.
Judges, it's hard to hear him when he's talking that way. Detective Blackburn, if you could just project your voice so we can.
Yes, sir.
Microphone, if he wants to use that.
Sure? You okay with that?
Whatever you prefer, Judge.
Give him a microphone.
No singing.
I think the last statement that you made was there was a black backpack being carried, or a backpack.
That is correct. If you see the defendant exiting the driver's side, she's carrying a backpack over her shoulder. Again, still wearing the COVID-19 mask. And we're at 7:31. You see movement in the back where the defendant opens the rear doors. Now she's inside the rear of the van, the cargo area.
From your vantage point, do you see any other individuals there, or does it only seem to be one person?
Only one person is the defendant.
Detective Blackburn, did you note a flash of any kind that had just occurred?
That is correct. She was the defendant was manipulating her flashlight on her cell phone.
Were there photographs that were also being taken? Is that a, or can you tell? You may not be able to see from there. Okay. Is this location closed at this hour?
That is correct, and there's a key drop box at that position of where she's standing by. The U-Haul key is dropped in the box, and then you'll see her stand by for a Uber or Lyft to pick her up.
I paused the video at 19:49 and 17 seconds. The timer at the bottom, the counter appears to have stopped working on my screen.
It's noted, thank you.
Okay.
This is now 3 hours and 36 minutes into this video.
Are you able to see the defendant on the screen there, Detective Blackburn?
That is correct. She's standing right here, again, waiting for the Uber or Lyft to pick her up.
Again, do you note any other individuals there with her on screen?
No other individual standing in the parking lot but the defendant.
Bless you.
Detective Blackburn, is that still a backpack on the defendant's back there?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and at some point, the defendant leaves the location.
Yes.
Okay. And is that on foot?
So-
Go.
No, the defendant gets picked up by a rideshare.
Okay.
At 7:52. You can see her walking out to the road and she'll enter a vehicle.
All right.
Stop the video at 4 hours and 45 seconds.
Detective Blackburn, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 124 through 127. These have also been previously shown to defense counsel. You've seen those before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what are they?
Pictures of the driver's license, defendant's driver's license, and the photos of the vehicle once it was returned.
All right.
What vehicle?
The U-Haul van.
And is that the same license plate as the van that in question?
That's correct. Arizona Alpha Lima 06742, AL 06742.
Okay, thank you. Judge, at this time, the state would move to tender into evidence State's Exhibit 124, 125, 126, 127, which are actually photos from the extraction of the defendant's cell phone in State's Exhibit 21.
Have they been altered in any way?
No, Judge.
They've been without a check.
Thank you, and they have been previously shown to defense counsel as well. I'm going to switch over here real quick, and from the defendant's phone, where there's some photographs found that were taken the night around this time of November 19th, 2021, that were of relevance to you to indicate that the defendant may have actually been the one that had dropped the van off.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. May I publish, Judge?
You may.
All right, I'm going to show you what is marked as State's Exhibit number 124. Previously, you had noted in the surveillance video that the defendant had taken a photograph of her driver's license.
Yes,
Okay, and this particular photograph was also found on her phone, is that right?
that is correct, yes.
Is that the U-Haul logo there at the bottom?
It is, yes.
Okay. I'm showing you State's Exhibit 125. And do you know if that does appear to be the parking lot of the A1 mini storage?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. State's Exhibit 126. What is that?
It'd be the inside of the van, the cargo area.
Okay, around the time that the van was returned?
That's correct, yes.
And then also State's Exhibit 127, was that also found on the defendant's phone?
Correct, yes. That's going to be the odometer.
Okay. Now, the U-Haul van, was it taken by the Gwinnett County Police Department, impounded by all of you?
It was on November 22nd, 2021, once I arrived at the location to obtain the receipt.
Was a search warrant obtained to search that van for any potential evidence?
It was, yes, a search warrant was obtained from a Gwinnett County magistrate judge on November 29th, 2021.
And was a search in fact performed of this particular U-Haul van?
It was, yes.
Was there any items of evidentiary value that were located within the van?
No items were located inside the van.
As a precaution, did you also request that a civilian cadaver dog be deployed around that van to determine if there was any cause for alerting?
I did,
by the
yes.
dog? Okay. And that was done by somebody else, correct?
That is correct, yes. On November 22nd.
On November 22nd? All right. Now, at some point, did you get some information from Brittany Hall that may help you to find the location of where Amari's body might be found?
I did, yes.
And where was that location?
In DeKalb County, near Stone Mill Drive.
Did detectives go to that location?
That is correct, yes, on November 22nd, that evening.
Was there an extensive search of the area?
There was, yes.
How long would that search have lasted?
A couple hours, but unfortunately, due to the sun setting, it became impossible for law enforcement to continue the search in the woods in the darkness.
So that evening, Amari was not found.
No, she was not.
At some point, was Amari's body located?
Yes, on November 23rd, 2021, in the morning hours, approximately 8:30-ish, 9.
What were the circumstances in finding her? Who found her?
Detectives from the Homicide Unit, Corporal Carter and Corporal Lawson, had traveled back out to that location since the search was halted from the dusk on November 22nd. They felt like they went back out there to do a secondary search of the location during daylight hours, and ultimately they located Amari Hall in the woodline.
She was deceased.
She was deceased, yes.
Were you there that day when she was found?
I was not there that day,
Okay.
no.
To your knowledge, was there an autopsy that was conducted on Amari's body?
There was, yes.
Were you present for that autopsy?
I was, yes. And that was on November 23rd, 2021.
And that was Dr.
Dr. Downs performed the autopsy on Amari's body.
That's the medical examiner.
Yes.
My final question to you, in your investigation, were you able to determine an approximate mileage from the A1 mini storage to the hometown studios to the location where Amari's body was found and back to the A1 mini storage?
I was, yes.
What was that?
And it was approximately 27 miles, the exact mileage that the defendant had driven on November 19th, 2021.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have, Judge.
Good morning, Detective Blackburn.
Come on, sir.
I have a question, sir. In regards to the flock camera system, can you elaborate a little bit on how the system works?
So as vehicles pass by the flock camera, the camera captures the license plate. Some cameras are angled differently to cover all 3 lanes, if there's 3 lanes, or if there's just a single lane, then obviously it's just angled to cover that specific lane.
What is it, video? Is it photographs? What does the camera system actually take a picture of?
It's a photograph of the vehicle itself, the rear of the vehicle, of the license plate mainly. That's what we're focusing on.
So is it constantly taking photographs, or just when a vehicle goes by it triggers the photograph?
It's censored as when vehicles travel past the flock camera. It captures the rear of the vehicle.
Okay, and it focuses on the tag, on the license plate itself,
That's correct, yes.
not on the interior, so it doesn't take photographs of who ultimately may be in that vehicle.
That's correct, no.
And this system, as you said, is throughout the country, but specifically in regards to this case, from DeKalb County and Gwinnett County, we're talking about those flock camera systems.
That's correct, only in DeKalb and Gwinnett County.
And Mountain Industrial Boulevard, is that what Jimmy Carter Boulevard turns into when you cross into DeKalb?
That is correct, yes.